Hello and welcome back to another episode of Notion Bonsai, and today we're going to be working on this great big hornbeam bonsai, and we're really going to set this tree up as a raw material to become a great bonsai. So today we're here in Attila's garden. This is a great big tree with a great big thick trunk here at the base, and you can actually see it's got quite a beautiful nabari also. Just looks like it's gripping the soil, and I really love big bonsai trees like this one.
So that was kind of offered to me as one of the friends, they were getting rid of their hedges, like the hornbeam hedges, and he was asking me like, would you like to take this tree? And I was like so happy for the opportunity to, we just collected back then. It was 2 years ago, and I didn't do much to the tree. Just put it into the big box, let it grow for the whole year. I didn't fertilize it, just to be on the safe side. Last year it was just let them grow again, heavy fertilized, and as you see, that you have lots of foliage on it. So we were thinking with Adam that it will be the best time to work on this tree already. Only what I did to the structural branches, it's basically I just wired down all those branches what I was thinking that I would keep them definitely. As now we've seen with Adam that the wire is kind of like started to bite into the wood.
Yeah. So Attila here is just taking off that guy wire before we take off the wire on the branches. It will be really interesting to see how much they have bitten in. Doesn't look like they have much. Looks quite fine to me. So you would prefer to unwire the tree than to cut it off in circumstances like this?
I don't want to be cheap here. Aluminium wire can be easily reused. I don't really like to waste anything when I don't need to. Because in this case, the wire comes off really easy and the branches are really...
Yeah, they can take that.
So they can take that. When it will be wired on smoother or way more delicate branches.
Yeah, like these ones here.
I would use wire cutter.
Okay.
If it needed.
So we have taken off all of the wire from this tree, and the next thing that we're going to do is give this tree an overall maintenance prune. By doing that, we'll just push the growth back, stop it growing out and out and out so that you can get more ramification and dense, compact growth, and to give it that classic triangular bonsai shape. And to do that, we're going to cut the branches back to the first, say, 2 or 4 set of leaves, depending on how back you want to push the growth. I'd say here today we're going to be cutting it back to the first 2 set of leaves because this tree is so vigorous and healthy. It will definitely be able to handle this kind of prune. And what I mean by cutting it back to the first 2 set of leaves is this branch here, for example. If I follow the branch right back to where it comes from and find the first 2 leaves on that branch, and then we just cut it there. So there's just 2 leaves left way inside here in this bundle of leaves. And by doing this, encourages the tree to backbud more. It improves the ramification and also gives the branches some taper as it grows. And now we're going to do the same principle and same way of pruning to every branch on the whole tree, just pruning everything back. And as we prune, of course, we're going to keep the overall shape and structure of the tree in mind, having it like this conical, beautiful triangular shape. And it was just today, Attila was asking if I wanted to work on this tree with him, just to prune it back and give it a general shape. And I thought that this particular tree, being so big and such a common species, the hornbeam, people use them for hedging and everything. I just thought this great big tree was such a great opportunity for a video, too good of a tree to miss. Just sort of documenting the progression of this tree and sharing it, because if you have a hedge that you're wanting to get rid of and you think that would make such a great bonsai, I think this is just such a great example tree for anyone who's starting with this big, large, thick trunk material like this, just to see how to go from a hedge to almost a finished bonsai. And now we have given this tree an overall prune, just to sort of keep it under control, otherwise the tree will reach the sky. We've topped the tree or cut the apex up here, just to stop the tree growing and growing and growing, as we feel that now this tree has enough thickness in the trunk and enough taper. And now this tree's moving into like the later stages of development, where you're no longer trying to get thickness in the trunk and taper. It's just then refinement, building that ramification. But there is one small tweak we are going to make. Up here at the apex of the tree, here is last year's cut where Attila had just chopped it here and allowed one of the branches on the side to grow up and become the new leader of the tree. But just here, Attila was saying, you feel like this is a little bit too stumpy?
It is.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. It's off.
Okay, and you're going to cut this off with a saw?
You're going to saw with the saw, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's just to get the taper to flow easier and like more naturally and smoother into the rest of the trunk, right?
It gives it more like natural, like blend in.
What a beautiful clean cut. We're going to now come in with the knob cutters and just give this a slight concave so that whenever this heals over and these edges callus, it will heal over flush rather than bulging out from the tree and giving you like that little bit of inverse taper, which you definitely don't want here. An inverse taper is when the tree will bulge out in one area. Instead of going from thick to thinner, it will go from like thick to thicker to thinner, which isn't really pleasing to the eye, and it looks a lot less natural also. And when using the knob cutters like Attila is here, it's better to take little chunks at a time instead of taking like a big bite at once, because you may find that it can be a little bit tricky, and trying to pull so much wood at once can sometimes tear the wood where you want to really chop the wood with the blade like Attila is doing. And this is really down to personal preference. I like to do it like that. Maybe you like to do it with a big chop. Let me know down in the comments what way you would use the knob cutter. So as you can see here on this particular wound or exposed wood, Attila is just cutting this back to reinstate the cut around this. And by exposing a little bit of the cambium around the edges of a big cut like this, will just encourage the tree to begin to callus around them edges.
I try to do big trunk chops and big branch cuts during the summer, just because, especially as you said, the tree, it's in a growing state, so it will heal over way quicker.
Wow, look at that. I think that's looking really great. A little bit of refinement here and there. I really love the grey coloured bark on these trees. And even here, you're thinking, this is the tree you were saying of making a hollow in the future just to get rid of them like scars.
The plan will be leave this tree as it is for this year, let it recover from this operation, and then next year hopefully we can come back and like carve out the whole front section. As the last touch, we decided, because these branches are almost every branch, it's going really
like downward?
going downward, so this was kind of like in here, so we're going to put this down with the wire. So we're using 4mm aluminium bonsai wire for this. It has to hold the branch.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to anchor it rather than go down
the whole way down the trunk.
The whole way down the trunk.
Okay. Around. Oh, this is looking great. So you've just anchored it around the back of the trunk?
Anchor around the back, yeah.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I think that really improved the overall design of the tree. Instead of this branch just going sort of up, that really just adds to that triangular shape. I think over time, this will thicken. This is just like the main branch. It looks great. I think as a first styling, this is really set up to become a great bonsai, and say like the next 5 years, every year just come back, do a little bit more refinement. You happy with it?
Yep, really happy with it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the help.
No problem. And on that, I'm going to end off this video right here. If you enjoyed, leave a like on this video. It really helps out the channel a lot with the YouTube algorithm. And let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. Is there anything that you would do differently? Attila here is just still tweaking away at the tree. Big massive thank you to Attila also for letting us work on this tree with him today.
It was fun.
Yeah?
It was fun.
If you would like to support me in the things that I do on this channel, hit the thanks button down below. And if you would like to stay updated on all the things that I do off camera, please follow me on Instagram. It's @NotionBonsai, and you'll be able to see all the things that I do on there. But on that, thank you so very much for watching.
Done.